welcome to Gens Before Friends. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Queen Amgie,
Hello.
and we're going to be talking about the anniversary event. It is over. I think everyone is like relieved at this
Mhm.
point.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. First, I want to rant about something.
Go for it, right away.
This actually happened. This was released during the anniversary event, so it ties in. But we got a new cosmetic for Silent Hill, Hinako from Silent Hill F, and so there was kind of some controversy kind of around the release because the actress that voices Hinako in the game did lines potentially. So in
Mhm.
the previous PTV, the data mined that there were like 20 something lines that she recorded. And the actress herself said she had recorded like the screams and the groans and all that. That's her. But in the files, there were voice lines. But she came out with no voice lines. So
Mhm.
that is kind of the thing. And I was going to buy this cosmetic. I liked Silent Hill F. I didn't love it. The combat is terrible, in my opinion. But story wise, like character wise, like they do Silent Hill F, there's a lot of other cosmetics they could bring in because Hinako has her friend group.
Mhm.
But yeah, you don't get a whole lot. So this cosmetic is 1,485 orc cells. And that's kind of
Expensive.
pricey. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm just not willing to pay that much for the cosmetic if there's no voice lines. And so I just also find it odd because also during the anniversary event, they had talked about that they're going to go back and do lines for all the original survivors. So they're going to go all the way back and slowly implement voice lines for like Dwight and Kate,
Mhm.
all those original ones because they've been doing that a bit with some of the licenses like Resident Evil. And recently they redid Stranger Things and added voice lines for like Steve and Nancy on top of giving lines to Eleven and Dustin. Just strange. I'm just upset. Like I want there to be more Silent Hill stuff. And to be fair to Behavior, they did not ever advertise that there were going to be voice lines. Okay, so let me put this out there because we don't know why the voice lines are not
Mhm.
in the game. So
Yeah.
it could have been Behavior. It could have also been Konami. Konami could have
Mhm.
pulled the plug on it. So we just don't know. But it's one of those things where I mean, Behavior, they have to be aware that there's data mining by now, right? There's always been data mining of the files. It's just kind of disappointing that we didn't get the lines, even though they didn't say we were going to get the lines. But just also the price of the cosmetic. And it's a very cool looking cosmetic. It's from further in the game where she's injured and it has the open back. If you played Silent Hill F, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm just frustrated. I'm just frustrated. So hopefully we're gonna get next year the cosmetic for the in Silent Hill, the nurse cosmetic for the spirit. So I'm excited about that. And hopefully they have to do voice. They have to do some sort of voice change for that because it's a completely different character. So, but sorry, that's my little rant. I love Silent Hill.
Okay.
We played Silent Hill 2 on the channel if y'all didn't know. And right now
Mhm.
we're playing a little plug. We're playing Dead Reset.
Mhm.
We've
Mhm.
done the first chapter of that, so go check it out. And hopefully, we're going to record another episode this week and play
Yeah,
the
I've been
next
making
part.
some very bad choices, I feel like.
Well, so if y'all don't know Dead Reset, in short, it's like a movie. It's kind of it's
Mhm.
choice based, but it's all live filmed. It's about this doctor that wakes up on, I'm gonna guess it's a spaceship, it seems like, but it's got a very alien vibe.
Mhm.
And he's like in a time loop basically. But
Yeah.
so we have to make decisions on trying to save people and figure out what's going on and why is he the only one looping. And it's very, oh, also it got age restricted, so if you don't see it popped up, go search for it. It is on our channel,
Yeah.
but it's age restricted mainly. It's the gore. It does
It's the
have
core.
gore. Yeah, there isn't like a little alien creature going out ripping people's necks, so there's gore.
Mhm.
And there's nothing we can really do about that. And it seems like that's kind of what's happening to anyone playing this game. So
Mhm.
So go look for it if it's
Yeah,
not popping
we
up.
got worried at first, but yeah, and I've already done chapter 1 and 2 people are dead, so I don't know how anyone else is gonna fare.
Yeah, we might be able to bring. I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to loop
We might be able to
backwards.
bring people, but yeah, we don't know. We haven't figured it out yet, but so far it's an interesting story, but yeah.
I feel like the first chapter
So,
is kind of like the tutorial chapter of like, this is the
yeah.
premise of the game. This is what's going to be happening. And so it seems like we hit a checkpoint after the first section. And so I think we're going to hit like different points we're going to loop back
Mhm.
to. So we'll have to see. But it's a good game so
Yeah.
far, very well acted. So I'm excited to see where it
What
goes.
happens? Yeah.
Hmm. I guess let's move on to the
Well,
anniversary
I did
event.
want to say,
Oh, go.
because you talked about the cosmetic, I think this is where it comes in to behavior need to be more transparent because I know people data mine the files, people have found it. I would prefer that they would just come out and say, hey, like we did record these, but we can't use them. We can't disclose why. Or, hey, we did record these, but as we go through the out the year and we make changes, this is something we're looking to put in. So I think this is an opportunity where they can be transparent. Even something as saying like, hey, on any project you record multiple lines to use. There was never any intention to put voice lines in for this cosmetic, and these were just extra or something like that. So I think this is where there's an opportunity for them to be factual about what happened or their process. Because I think a lot of people are really disappointed with the fact that they're like, we're going to retroactively come in and add voice lines, but you have a whole brand new cosmetic coming out from a really big thing, Silent Hill,
Hmm.
and there is none. So I feel like people there was an expectation for voice lines, even if it wasn't implicitly stated. So that's
Yeah.
my
I think
thoughts.
I think it's hard because especially watching a lot of interviews that Matthew Cote does, because now he does the partnership stuff, he has to be very careful in what he
Mhm,
says because you can't always say why something didn't come in. So it's not like behavior can come in and say, yeah, it's Konami's fault. They said no. They can't do that. They can't be bad mouthing someone they have a partnership with or implying that they're the reason that the
mhm,
voice lines didn't come in. And the actress herself didn't say she did the line. She says she did the
mhm.
screaming, like all the other sounds basically.
You can always
But
do a PR spin where you're not blaming people for
yeah,
anything, but
I just don't
simply
think,
stating, "Hey, there was, never intention for voice lines to come out, and we never stated
well,
that."
but
Even something
but
like
then
that.
it's like weird because they recorded it. We know they recorded the
Mhm,
lines. So there was, to me, they recorded them. There had to be some intention that they were planning
mhm,
to at some point, because you wouldn't have this actress record for no reason. I don't know. It's just a strange situation. And again, we
mhm,
don't know why. Maybe they weren't up to quality. I mean, there was issues with the Walking
mhm,
Dead voice lines with like hearing people in the background of the recording and stuff.
mhm,
So maybe it's something like that where they were not salvageable or something. I mean, that is always a possibility too. It's just hard. And then, again, they didn't promise us voice lines, but again, going to other licenses that do have voice lines, and it seems like the standard going forward is that they're going to have voice lines
mhm,
for original characters and trying to make it more immersive and have you connect with the original characters more and have them talking to each other, kind of like Walking Dead and Stranger Things do. I feel like it's a missed opportunity and to also just set the
mhm.
standard also with
Yeah,
Silent
110%
Hill.
there. Mhm.
So, anyway, I won't buy this one until it's on sale, like, heavily on sale. I'm sorry, like, I'm cheap, like, I don't buy a lot of cosmetics. I do the red passes and DVD, but I don't buy a lot of just the outfits, especially licensed outfits, because they are typically more expensive, and depending on what it is, it's like so now with the license, like Legendary Cosmetics, they list out everything you get, and when you compare Hinako's list with, like, James and Maria, it's
Mhm.
very short. You get more badges with James and Maria, there's different animations, and so you just get more, for your money with some of the other licensed
Yeah.
cosmetics than with this one. So that's what's just kind of hard, but I love Silent Hill, so just want what's best
You're
for
passionate
Silent
about it. It's
Hill.
okay.
I know, I love Silent Hill. I don't know how to feel about Townfall. That's coming out September. Everything's coming out like September, I feel like. Everyone's trying to
Mhm.
get released before GTA 6.
Yeah, GTA 6, yeah.
So I gotta somehow play Control Resonant and Silent Hill Townfall. The
I believe
same.
in you.
They've come out on the same day. Anyway.
There's 24 usable hours in a day, ma'am. Figure it out.
And I just have kids and like responsibilities and
That's it. Lock 'em up.
taking that day off. Okay.
Mhm.
Anniversary, because there was a lot, I feel like
Yeah.
complaints, maybe complaints. I don't think it's controversy, but a lot of complaints about the anniversary event. And I feel like
Yeah.
I have a hot take, but let's kind of go over the basics of what the anniversary event was about because this was totally new. We don't have the masquerade
Mhm.
anymore, no tricks. So this year was the Black Banquet, and this was teased heavily in the Summer Game Fest trailer that they
Mhm.
had, along with some clues for future content. But basically, with this event, it was all about the survivors plating a table and killers had a poison. So survivors got 8 dining carts that spawned around the map, and then there were 2 banquet tables that would spawn, and so they had to put 4 plates on to trigger the banquet payoff, and it would also heal everyone. So there were 3 different main courses with different effects. So, first one we'll do is the stuffed trotters, and this was basically your haste one. You would gain haste after completing a generator or hooking a survivor. So there was a killer and survivor buff. Survivors could also eat the morsel, and that would give them a dash. Basically, they got sprint burst. They got a little sprint burst if they ate the morsel. And again, if they plated the table, they all get healed, a health state, and then the action speed is increased 5%. And this is for opening the gates, opening chests, supply chest, rummaging, healing, mending, unhooking, sabotaging, repair, entering and exiting lockers, vaulting, cleansing, and blessing totems. So all those actions were faster by 5%. So that was the stuffed trotters. And then when the creamy pasta was about pallets. So it would have fragile pallets appear throughout the map. And if you ate a morsel, you could see nearby pallets and gain what was called untouchable. You're basically invincible. You can't be hit by the killer for 3 seconds. So not super long. And again, if you played at the table, you gained a health state and you could rebuild and reset pallets. And also, all pellets could not be broken. So, killer, when the table is set, cannot break any pallets, which could be very, very strong, especially on god pallets. Let's see. And then the last one we had for the main course is the bake. I don't even know how to say this. Camembert. Camembert.
I think so. That it looks like that. It's probably something like more flourished, but yeah.
Yeah, I have no
This
idea.
is
I
this
don't
is
even know
the
what it is.
I feel like this is a really controversial one.
I feel like this is the fun one though. This is portals. So
Yeah.
you get 6 portals. There's a cooldown for the portal. So portal interaction duration is a second. Portal interaction cooldown is 5 seconds. If you eat the morsel, you become invisible to the killer. And then again, if you set the table, everyone gains a health state and the portals refresh. Using a portal refreshes held items and gives a new item and add-ons and gains a brief burst of invisibility. So, and then the portal teleport can do random items such as the camping medkit, the flashlight, and a worn out toolbox. So that was the main course, and you had the main course until you got down to dessert, and that is when survivors get down to 1 gen, or there's just 1 survivor remaining. So there is no more main course. So desserts, you get a random effect by eating from the dining cart or the banquet table. So you can either get haste, you can get elusive or undetectable on the killer side, and then endurance for survivors or light resistance for killers. And so if you want to rack up those blood points, go eat at all the tables. So survivors had the tables, killers. Well, do we just talk about survivor first or then killer? What do you want to do? Or go over all of it?
Well, killers had poison.
They had the poison,
So,
yes.
yeah, killers could poison the dining carts and the tables, pallets, gens, and survivors.
Yeah, they could throw the poison or they could place
Hmm.
the poison. So you start out with two, and then the max they can have is four. Recharge time for the poison is 40 seconds. So yeah, they can poison objects like the table, they can poison the pallets, gens, or the most efficient way to use a poison is to throw it at the survivor mid chase because what the
Yeah,
poison ends up
it's
doing, it slows down the
suck.
survivors. It kind of goes in kind of a couple phases of they start coughing and then they're hindered and then it kind of goes back to normal and then they'll have hindered where you're basically forced to walk. They can't run.
Yeah, they can't
Um,
run. Mhm.
so it's like pretty much a guaranteed hit on the survivor. So the poison is really the strongest use in chase because the thing about poisoning objects or gens is as the killer, you don't know
Mhm.
when other survivors are poisoned. It's not like plague. I'm going to compare it to plague a lot because I think plague is a good example, like
Mhm.
comparison of, when plague, spits on a gen and the survivor gets on the gen, you can tell they're infected. But with the poison, there's no noise notification, there's no icon on the survivor that they are poisoned. So you don't know. Basically, it's like you gotta camp the gin or palate or something to know if they're poisoned.
Mhm.
So, besides just poisoning objects for the quest, there's really no reason to poison objects. You just need to
Mhm.
poison and chase. That's the most effective thing to do with the poison. But the killer really doesn't interact with the tables except to poison them. It's not until you get down
Yeah,
to, like, dessert when they can eat from the dessert carts,
that's
but
really even worth interacting with the
mhm.
tables or the carts.
So,
Yeah,
that's the basics of, the event. Again, this is a whole new event that Behavior hasn't done before, and a lot of content creators had thoughts. There were a lot of thoughts, a lot of negative thoughts.
a
But,
lot of negative thoughts. Yeah.
Queen, what did you think about the event?
Okay. I think it's a very creative take on an event. It is not my favorite. I did not necessarily enjoy playing it because I feel like a couple days in that killers, for the most part, were very unhappy with how unbalanced it felt. I'm not saying it was unbalanced. I'm saying it can feel oppressive from a killer point of view if all your games you're logging in and all your survivors are invisible. You know what I mean? Um, I really want them to make something more balanced, to have killers have a reason to interact with the objects that are there. And I'm of the mind that if a survivor, is able to have these haste, have these fragile pallets or invincibility, or be able to go invisible, the killer should too. And I really think they should make it to where it's like a back and forth with the killer doing something that gives them a buff for 90 seconds. And, whether it's like if the killer's placing plates, and this is just an example, survivors can sabotage it, killers can sabotage it, have them have a reason to interact with everything. Because all I felt like as a survivor is I had chores. If I wasn't focusing on gens, then you had people literally camping tables and doing nothing, just trying to get tables off, but not having the tables go off at the right times. We were trying to time it as
Mhm.
survivors and be like, okay, someone's injured, they're in chase. Let's try to get a table, get them healed. They can take an extra hit. There were some people just camping by tables, just putting them off willy nilly and then not doing anything. We had a couple matches. Well, I know I did, where it was like me and the one survivor that didn't do anything all thing except tables, and I was literally asking the killer to let me die. Like
We're
please
not getting
kill me.
out.
Really, please. Like I am tired of trying to do everything because he couldn't find it was a ghoul. It was interesting. The ghoul couldn't find the other person. I was trying to point them where they were and I kept getting on a gen and I was like, kill me, and they were shaking their head at me and at the end I explained to the ghoul, I was like, this person literally did nothing all match except tables and then was hiding the whole time.
Yeah.
So I really do think they need to come up with some type of solution to where whatever survivors have, killers have something equal, and that it's more of like a battle to have whatever it is go off, whatever benefit go off. And I just don't, I think it had some interesting things, but for the most part, a couple days in, killers started to play certain specific killers that would impact the buffs that you would get.
Mhm. I
So
was
we
gonna
saw a lot of ghouls, we saw a lot of crosses, we saw a lot of legions,
Legion, yeah, I was gonna bring this
um,
up too.
we
Plague, I
saw
saw some of that.
plagues.
Basically, killers that put you in a mending state.
Yeah,
Because if you're deep wounds, sorry, deep wounds is the state.
deep
So
wounds.
if you're in deep wounds and you pull off a table, well, then you're just injured. Like that's your health
Hmm.
state. So it doesn't get you to healthy. So yeah, any killers like that put you in a deep wound state or broken state, like with plague, there's no point in doing the tables in regards to healing.
Hmm.
So it did bring out a certain play style or certain
Play
killers,
style.
yeah, to counter the tables. I think just overall, to not even just with these killers, right? We also saw a lot of Jason because Jason's just came out, but then
Yeah.
everyone's playing like Hex build Jason, and I
Mhm.
think overall, when the killer population feels like an event is one sided, they start
Mhm.
playing the nastiest builds or the builds they know that they're going to
Mhm.
win with. So, like with Jason, tons of hex builds with like Thrill to Hunt and Ruin, Devour Hope. And the same with other killers too, playing like basically playing a lot of gen defense and
A lot of no heal
no
builds.
healing, just
Mhm.
oppressive builds during what's supposed to be the anniversary event. And I guess in my mind, when I think of like the anniversary event, like it should be fun. It doesn't have
Mhm.
to be super chill, but I feel like a little more chill. Like we should be having fun.
It should
And
be fun on both sides though. And I think
yeah,
that's where they missed the mark for me because you could tell that killers were just there and it was, I hate this, so I'm going to take it out on everybody, which okay, cool, fear, feel the way you need to feel, right? But I, especially when a lot of the big content creators came out the day later and they were like, this sucks, this is stupid, I feel like that ignited the fire
yes,
with
agree.
people. And then this whole, so it's so survivor sided, which I hate. I hate the whole killer sided, survivor sided. It's not balanced. Like it's legit not balanced to have it to where killers have something that's equal to what the survivors having. Is the poison awful? 110%. I never survived at all getting hit by poison. That was the strongest thing they had, but there was no reason for killers to interact with any objects. And I don't know, I feel like back during the original Blood Moon event when you had the circles and killers could get their buff and survivors could get their buff and it was like a fight, like that was more fun for me.
Hmm.
And I want them to do something more like that. Did I absolutely terrorize killers with going invisible? Heck yeah.
You're like,
That was probably my
yes,
favorite thing.
your new superpower.
If you Yeah, and if the killer was good, they would still track you. You know, if they could still track you, but going invisible and sitting by Bush and a gin as they came out to kick it was the best thing in the world. That's how I was using it, because I like to play hide and seek. Did I abuse that one a lot? Yes, but we had a lot of killers when they came in and saw that it was the bake whatever, the bake Bert, they would just immediately DC. And I get it. Like, as I was watching people play who main killer, after like the fifth match of having everybody go invisible the moment you hit them, yes, it can get annoying. So I just don't think it was balanced. I'm not going to say it was survivor sided versus killer sided. It just wasn't balanced to have everyone have a good time, in my opinion, which means that the people who really felt like it was against them decided just to make it miserable for everybody else.
Yeah, it's so hard because no, it's not balanced, but this whole game isn't balanced. Like that's kind of the
I
reality. Like
know.
it's not like the base game is not balanced either. Between all the perks, the add-ons, the items, all the killers we have, the game is just not balanced. Period. So I think it's not this event wasn't balanced, but I don't think it was so imbalanced as the community perceived it to be. Does that make sense? Like, I
No, it
really
makes sense.
feel like, and this could probably be like a whole other like episode discussion of how do content creators impact the community and how the community feels about an event? Because again, there were so many negative, takes on it,
It
and I don't know if the perception would have changed if they had not made videos
it really
because
impacted it negatively, I can say
because
that.
I totally get because I play both sides, and I played both sides during the event, and I didn't really change my builds as killer on this event, and I could still 4K. Like I played my usual sneaky Nimi build,
Mhm,
and I still 4K'd. I think it very, but I also got stomped by people as trappers, so I could tell when I'm going against Swifts and solo.
mhm.
If I'm 4King with my usual Nimi build and they can insta heal with the table, then they're probably also solo queue and not working together. The poison, so on the killer side, the poison is very oppressive to the survivors. That's the best thing
Mhm,
they have. They can use the portals. There are things they could use, but it goes to your point of like, if the emphasis is these banquet tables, the killer should have something that they
mhm.
can do as well. Like I would have
Yeah,
expected the killer would be able to go like eat a plate off the table, right? Take a
yeah.
or steal a plate, however you want to,
Mhm,
animate it. But basically, the survivor's trying to put stuff on the table, and the killer's trying to take stuff off the table, right? And keep them from healing. I think the healing is probably the most annoying thing on the killer side too,
mhm.
because you could have the whole team injured, and just by setting the table, then that all goes away. All that work the killer has done has gone away, right? And I know on the killer side that's frustrating. The poison on the survivor side is also very frustrating because you end up walking and you
You
can't
can't get away.
do anything else. There's not really another option. So there are things on both sides. No, it's not balanced. And really, I think to your point is we need to have an event where it's more cohesive. Like why does the killer have poison bottles? Like I think the
Yeah.
concept is he's poisoning the food, but
Mhm,
again, that doesn't do anything for the killer. Like as
mhm.
killer, if I go poison the banquet table, the next survivor that eats at the table is poisoned. Not all the survivors that eat from it. The next one, but there's no, again, no notification to the killer. There's no icon. There's nothing. There's no way to know as a killer that I need to go back to the banquet table because someone's eaten there, right? Like someone has been there, which is important information as a killer to know. Like, oh, okay, this person's poisoned. Again, like plague. Okay, this person is poisoned. I know where someone is, and now they
I
are
thought I thought
hindered.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought the killers were getting notifications,
Mm-mm,
and then I was like, "No one's going back to anything.
mm-mm.
Everybody's staying where they are." And I
No,
think
there's
that would have just completely changed the game dynamics if they got Killer Instinct or
Killer
something,
Instinct, or just put a little icon like
or
around
an
the
icon.
survivor name, or like make it green and be like, okay, they're poison. I can see this person's
Yeah.
poison now. That's all as a killer. you really need to know is that that someone has touched the table. You placed
Mhm.
poison. It's like you laid a trap. I laid the trap and someone is in the trap, but I don't know that. And again, I kind of like the concept. I like the banquet
Oh,
concept.
yeah. I like the
Like
concept. The
the
art stuff is really
cosmetic,
pretty.
yeah, all of that is fine. I don't know. Part of me is just wondering if they
The
just
vibe
need
was great. The mechanics weren't.
I just kind of don't know if they just need to go in like a totally like different direction with these events and be more I don't want to say silly. I don't know. Like we should have been like have the survivors mix it, make it like paleo. Let's make a recipe. Have the survivors bring
Mhm.
all the
Oh my
ingredients and
gosh, more homework.
make the killer a meal and see if the killer likes it. The killer approves. You can go. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like I kind of like they did my. I'm gonna. This was like a 2 day event. My little Oni when that came out April Fools.
People are still talking about it.
Yeah, that was memorable. I almost feel like they should have done something more like lighthearted, I guess, with if they're going to do this whole banquet thing. I don't know. I don't know what they should do. Like, I don't hate this banquet concept. I'm sure it's going to be here next year. They're not just going to have this be, one and done. This is kind of their first round doing this event. And I know content creators are all upset, like, they can't be keeping this in for next year. Oh, I'm sure they will, because I mean, we had the masquerade for several years. And I'm sure if we were to like go back on year one of the masquerade, I'm sure there were people complaining back then. It seems like every event is just complaining.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's ever going to be the like perfect event that's like a series event, I guess I'll say. Like My Little Oni was an April Fool's joke event.
I mean, we have
And
2v8, which I think is pretty darn close to balanced.
yeah, 2v8 is probably, but 2v8 is like just so different from the base game. It's a
Yeah.
different game mode. I mean, 2v8 has its own issues though too, because they had to take out Legion. Like 2v8, they're tweaking it. It's on the right path. 2v8's on the right path, and I'm sure they're wanting to put more killers in. And we're gonna get 2v8 for a week next month. Play it all you can, but
Yeah. It
as far
just,
as like
they
an
really have to,
event,
yeah. They
really,
have
we're
to
talking
figure out something for the killers to do.
because we had this problem with like the the one with the blood
Barbecue
gens. Yeah, the
events, the
barbecue where
bludgeon,
you go
the
to the
barbecue.
gas, you get the gas cans and like fill
Mhm.
it up with blood, and all killers do is kick them. That's all they do. Like it's the same thing. It seems like killers. I don't know. I think it's hard because, like you said, on the survivor side, like it's like I have chores, but
Mhm.
like killers can also feel the same way. Like, oh, I have to go run and like go to a banquet table when the survivors are all in gens, right? It's kind of the same thing on the killer side too. Like, you're okay, you're going to take me away from pressuring the gens to do something else. So I think it's just a really hard
Well,
thing
that's
to
why I think they need to
balance.
make it worth it.
Hmm.
Example, we have the one where we can go, the survivors had the bait cami and you could go invisible. I think it should be a one for one where, okay, well, the killer should be able to go invisible too for however long.
Yeah,
Say, for example, for that one, the killer starts out invisible and doesn't come visible until first hit or something like
yeah.
that, or they reveal themselves to hit. I think there should be something equal. If Survivor was able to complete a table, it would block all gens. You know
Here's
what I
a
mean?
Yeah. I just had a thought.
Like,
What was it? Is it the Halloween one, the void, where you could take void essence from
hmm
each other?
hmm
They should have done that with the plates.
yeah.
Like if you get a survivor, you take their plate. Like they could put a mechanic in where like if the
Oh,
killer gets
true.
like 4 plates, like they could get a plate from the table, right? You don't want
Or
them
the
to
survivors. If you
survivor.
hit the survivor, you're taking the plate.
Yeah, so if you have 2 banquet tables, and let's say you can only take 1 plate at a time from the banquet table, like a cool down, because you don't want them to, like, there's 3 plates on the table. You don't want
Mhm.
the killer to take all 3 plates, but, like, okay, you take the plate here, like, every minute, and then if you, like, down a survivor, you take their plate, and or maybe even just hitting them take the plate, I don't know. But anyway, so the killer's, like, collecting the food, and then they would get
Yeah, maybe
that
it stacks and
invisibility,
does
and then
something.
if they get so many, maybe they get the invisibility, right, or whatever the ability is,
Yeah,
like the
see, that's what I
survivors.
mean, like balance. So, and like for the one where it blocked pallets, the natural thing for me to be blocked gen. So,
Yeah.
because let's be honest, if you're carrying a banquet plate and someone hits you with a weapon, you're dropping it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what's his name with his box, um,
Pinhead.
Pinhead with his box. If he gets you and you have the box, it's his now.
Mhm.
So I think that would be a good give and take to where if like there's four survivors, so he if they were able to steal a plate, there could be a cooldown, but if you hit a survivor actively carrying a plate, obviously they can't have used it. Right? If they use it, it's null and void. But actively carrying a plate, that plate is now yours. And
Mhm.
say you get four, and then all of a sudden you're visible, or gens are blocked, or you get a haste. Um, I think that is more give and take,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
because that still gives them a reason to interact with the carts or the tables. Because say you hit three survivors and you have three plates, well, that is definitely a reason for you to go to a table
Yeah.
and pick up. So
Or maybe even from
that's
the
what I'm saying,
carts,
like,
let them pick up from the
or the
carts too.
carts, yeah.
I mean,
And
it okay, go ahead.
yeah, no, I just that's my big thing. Like I don't like the fact that for the most part, during a lot of these events, gameplay doesn't change at all for the killers. And
No, it's
I'm
pretty
over here
boring.
as a survivor, like, okay, I gotta clap my hand 3 times and spin in a circle and go find this item and I don't know, do an essay, do all this stuff,
Take it
and
to the
somehow find time.
basement
Yeah,
and
somehow find time to do gens. And I'm
and
like, there's no reason for the killer to not play normally, and I have to do all this other stuff. And then when you don't play, like when I got to a point where I was like, that's it. I'm just going to hard focus on gens. And then we would have these randoms come up to me pointing at the banquets tables. And I'm like, dude, like, get off my back. Like, I am tired of doing this.
we're just trying to get the
Um,
dessert round,
I'm just
please.
trying to get to dessert. I'm just trying to get gens done at this point. We have these awful gen builds we're going against. No, it does not behoove me, random Cheryl 01 to go get off a gen and get a plate right now. Like, I don't care at this point.
Yeah, you always just general survivor knowledge is you
Mm.
need someone on gen pretty much at all times, whether it's
All the
events
time.
or regular match, right? You need to keep a gen going. You need progress on gens, and when no one's on a gen, then that's typically the game is going to be lost because you have to apply pressure because otherwise the killer's just going around kicking him and they're losing progress and you're just back at zero again. So
Hmm.
the other thing that happened also, this kind of came out towards the end of the event, I feel like, was the spawn of the dining cart to the table. So apparently at times, not every match, but I did have some matches like this where the dining cart spawned like right next to the table. And so there would be like a survivor that would just stay there
Stand there.
and put plates on and then time it. So again, when someone's injured, let's heal them.
Yeah.
I had that happen on the game map in the bathroom. There was one like a cart right outside the bathroom, and the banquet table was in the bathroom. Yeah, I
But we
had
also
someone.
had matches where the dining carts were on the opposite side
It was
of the map of the
RPD.
banquet.
RPD is like the
RPD.
worst with RNG. For I feel like every event RPD is just bad because it's typically whatever the event is. I think because we had this problem with the gas can one too.
The gas cans,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is always the problem with RPD. I don't like it's one side it has the gas cans or like the table, and then the other side has all the carts, right? We had this is the same complaint we had during that event as well. I don't know what it is
Yeah.
with RPD because
But the
RPD,
killer realized it, so the
yeah,
killer was just staying towards the middle and hitting anybody trying to go across.
yeah,
Like, eventually, we're just like, okay, we're just gonna stop and do gens and have the killer come to us because
yeah,
there was no point in trying to do the tables. So they really need to figure out like the spawns. And the same thing with the gas cans. We had a lot of maps where you would have like the four gas pumps all in a row in the same area, and the killer was like, I have no reason to not leave this area.
Yeah.
And then there was the controversy with the blood point offering
Oh, yep, that was
not showing up.
well, I can confirm this because this was when Shane came out, our new
Mhm.
survivor, and I poured like 800K into him and got no offerings. Now,
Yeah.
at the time, because I just poured the blood points and I didn't like go through level by level. Apparently, you needed to go through level by level to get the offerings because I guess it was not getting automatically like selected or
Selected.
prioritized when you did the automatic like pouring it in. And so yeah, they had to comp us and they had to fix the blood web and then I think there was also controversy because I think behavior tried to say like, oh, you're getting more of the offerings than last year, and I don't think that's true. That's what
Well, someone did the math. The
yeah,
smart players did the math and they were like, "Yeah, no." And then people came out and they're like, "Actually, it looks like every year we're getting less."
I know. I mean, I'm just glad they overall fixed it because yeah, having nothing
Yeah.
on Shane when I'm trying to like pour into Shane and get his perks on everyone. I'm just like, I need the blood points. So, and
So it
definitely during
was
like the anniversary event, if I want to play him, I need the offering on him. Like, there's like, I'll have to go play. Oh, and then like it was also when the initial issue was coming up, because I remember hearing this from Polly. If you had a P100 character, apparently the offering showed up on every level. So then I P100 Alan and got offerings that way, like the first day or
yeah.
two until they fixed it. Because I was like, because I was close to getting Alan to P100, so I was just like, okay, let me just pour the rest of my points into Alan, get him to P100, and get offerings that way. Because again, with the offering, it's not just the blood point bonus, it's you start with the plate, you can see the banquet
Mhm.
tables, so there's other advantages to start to having the offering. You can certainly play
Yeah.
without it, but you don't start with the plate and you don't see the table. So, and of course, you don't get the big blood point bonus. I just feel like also with this with an anniversary event with this much blood points, like let's just farm it out, people. Like I did do some farming rounds with
Mhm.
people. I had some cute survivors at times. It's like get to dessert and start farming the dessert tables because there are a lot of
Mhm.
dining carts, right? There's 8, so you can go
Mhm.
from me and this Fang went around in a circle and just like got dessert over and over and over again until the timer ran out because of maximizing my blood points, right? She's maximizing the blood points. So, I mean, I don't know if we should be promoting farming, but also maybe just let's just chill out
We
a little
we
bit.
we didn't have any farming rounds that I can recall. Maybe
Not
one.
really. Yeah, it is very
Everything else
few.
was there
I
was a lot
feel
of tunneling.
I feel
A
like I
lot of
farmed
tunneling.
more as killer. If the survivors are cool, if they have personality, they kind of seem like they want to farm. I'm probably pretty down with it. And typically there was an Emmy round I farmed with like the stable was like more me at the end. So and she was like, yay at the like in the chat, she was all happy and
Yeah.
she they were all cool with it. So it's one of those things like I feel like we just need to chill out. I almost feel like at
Everyone
this
just be
point
cool, guys. Be
well,
cool.
I almost feel like this event would be so I just popped into my head. Like if we had this event with like no perks. Maybe that's what needs to happen. We need to do this event with no perks. Because I feel like
Oh, that would make sense because you technically get perks by doing the
yeah,
table.
take out the killer perks, take out the survivor perks.
Mhm.
So then you don't have the oppressive killer builds. I mean, you can still play your legion and your ghouls and all of that. And then survivors can start with no perks, maybe no items, just open chest in the match. That would be your items. That's how 2v8 started was no items. So you can just
Yeah.
scavenge an item and get going. Maybe that would make this event like 10 times better.
Mhm.
But overall, still, there's the poison bottle issue. It doesn't really fit in to the theme.
I mean, the artwork, the aesthetic, all the decorations like in the maps, even like when
Hmm.
you weren't doing playing the banquet and you were just on a regular map, they had like a whole banquet set up. It was really
Hmm.
pretty. I watched lots of videos of survivors getting married.
I saw Leon and Ada get married. I was so happy.
Leon and Ada get married. Um,
Listen, Capcom. Okay, we know Leon's married. this is your this is your hint
however,
of who we want.
yeah, so it aesthetically it was really pretty, and I like the vibes. I just mechanically I was very disappointed, and then when just a lot of top content creators came out and they bashed the event, I feel like that created a big snowball effect where
Hmm.
everyone was just really decided that no, it sucked, so they were going to make everybody's lives miserable. Is kind of what I feel happened, and we played as best we could, but eventually we were just like, yeah, let's get through, get the items we want, and that's gonna be it.
I think I ended
And
up
that's
with extra tokens because I think they gifted us a bunch with the blood or with the offering mishap too. Because I had extra.
yeah.
I think you but I played with
Yeah, and
hits,
then
but
they gave like a blood point extra, but
yeah,
I wasn't having super much fun. And a lot of it is because I if there's not some give and take, I kind of just find it boring and I hate when I'm given extra work like for no
yeah,
reason.
yeah. It's
Especially,
hard.
like, if you had killers, for example, when all the Crossu started to come out, you already have extra work playing against a Crossu in regards to going and getting, like, the little thing to heal yourself and everything like that. So a lot of the killers that ended up coming in to counter the benefits you got from the banquet all had homework with them. You know, Plague's got the shrines, Nimi and Wesker, you have to spray, and so I was like, "Man, this is getting too much. Like, this is turning into like a full-time job, and I'm not even being paid."
I don't know. Hopefully, maybe they'll listen and do some of our ideas next year, and we'll be like, "That was us." Give
Yeah,
killers the same ability.
give them the same
Let
abilities.
killers
Have
take the
something
plates.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, just let the killer take the plate again, like the void essence during the Haunt by Daylight event. Do
Yeah.
something like that where it's again, and then it's that give and take, right? And maybe there's a way for survivors to take plates from the killer if they get pallets stunned or something. I don't know.
Because you do.
It's
You grab if you stun the killers during that event, you do
yeah,
get their
you
essence.
get void. So like the same thing with the banquet
Yeah.
somehow. So I don't know. We're
Mhm.
gonna be having a lot of game modes coming up next week, so we'll see how it goes.
Mhm.
We have Chaos Shuffle, then Lights Out, and then 2v8
Ugh.
for mainly mostly August. So July 28th, we have Chaos Shuffle. Lights Out starts August 4th, which we haven't had that game mode in a hot minute.
I hope they
And
fixed it.
there were some notes about it. I don't have them all up. I know the survivors, they hold a lantern, they can see the aura palettes and vaults. I'd have to go look. All that information right now is in the game and then in your messages tab. They announced it, and then we get 2v8 August 11th. Definitely
I
going to
always love some
be
2v8.
knocking out a lot of Rift stuff with Killer and 2v8. I haven't really played much Killer. I'm just like, I'll just wait until Chaos Shuffle or I don't know. Is playing the base game is just I have to be in the mood at this point.
Yeah, that tracks. The only time I played Killer recently was to finish up some things, and I just farmed. And I've done it the last couple events, and all survivors have thanked me afterwards. And I'm not a good killer, guys. It took me a long time to get these survivors to trust me. I wasn't gonna kill them, but almost every group I went against, no one complained that I farm. All of them thought I was a hilarious naughty bear trapper because I kept stepping in my own traps, but I was actually doing that and not doing it to get laughs because I suck. But every single one of them were like, "Thank you so much. We needed a chill game."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Cool, you are welcome," because I wanted to complete this stuff and I was having a hard time completing things with survivors. So I was like, "Oh, I can injure people as trapper or throw
Yeah.
hatchets as this or do this." And that's
Yeah.
how you know that it's a rough time out there for survivors when they're actually like, "Yeah, heck yeah, I'm so glad we're farming."
Well, okay, so different event. I had this just made me think of when I was playing Killer. This was Christmas. This was during the Christmas event. There
Mhm.
was a group, they were Swift. but they were doing like the 12th kind of thing. They were trying to give me presents.
Yeah.
And I let them, and then I let them farm because I'm like, oh, this is so cute and funny. And
Mhm.
again, they had personality and they were bringing me gifts. That was their whole point. And in the chat, they told me that I was like the first killer in 4 hours to do that. Like
Yeah.
to play with
To let
them
them
and to let them farm and be like, "Oh yeah, presents, like just play along and have fun." And I just thought that was so sad. Like in 4 hours cuz one or two of them were streaming and yeah, they were like, "Yeah, in 4 hours no one has
played, yeah.
accepted our gifts and been like played along." So yeah,
That's
so
proof to me that this game is not as casual as people wish it was.
yeah, I think a lot of people just I don't know. I've had it on the survivor side too, where well, this was like when I first started playing, so this is long, long time ago. When I first started playing DBD, I came across a survivor that was all about escaping. He's like, that's the point of the game. Like, forget the team. Like, he sacrificed the team and he took a key. Like, it was all part of his plan of just, he was just going to let the whole team die and he was going to be the last one. That was how he played the game as a survivor. And I don't really see many people play that way, but taking the goal to like the extreme, I just don't see how you have fun doing that either. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna hide the whole round. I'm gonna hide from the killer and wait for everyone to die, and I'm gonna get out. I'm not gonna interact with my team. I'm not gonna heal. Like this dude would not heal me,
Mhm.
and I actually I kind of remember this match. I had a fun time. It was a ghosty, and so Ghosty and I were playing peekaboo and all that, and he was just like hiding. I'm like, how is that fun? Like I know you like to do the gens. You don't really like to be chased, but still, it's like there's still, like, fulfillment in, like, helping your team, healing your team,
Oh, yeah, I
and
do
the
all that.
altruism. So, just for it to be like, "I'm not gonna do any of that, and I'm just gonna be selfish and hide," and I'm like, "But is it really about you getting out? Is that really the goal of the game?" And I think now that there's more parameters of what a win and a loss is, 'cause this is way back when there was no MMR and behavior had not set like, a 2K is a tie and above that is winning for the killer. So, but
Yeah, and when it comes to me playing hide and go seek, like, with the killers, which I absolutely love, I try to waste as much of their time as possible. So it's not
mhm.
like Mocking, you can attest to this. I'll be like, "Yeah, the killer's still over there looking for me," and people are
Yeah.
just popping gens.
Yeah.
Because 'Cause I'm also leaving scratch marks in certain directions, and I'm going back around, and I'm starting my gym back up again, and I'm, trying to do stuff, but also I am a hider, but I do take aggro. I will body block. I will go for the unhook. I will take active chase if I need to. It's not my preference, but I will. But when it comes to my hiders, we have to make a good name for ourselves. You're not hiding just for the sake of hiding, but you're leaving enough for them to follow you and try to spend time looking for you. And that's how I just prefer to waste a killer's time than looping them because I'm not a super strong looper. Have I had some really good runs? Heck yeah. But I'm just better at creating distractions and then getting them really focused on trying to find me because eventually they just get tired of not finding me and they'll hyper focus. Sometimes that results in me being tunneled, but I don't mind it so much if gens are getting tunneled
Yeah. It's when gens are not getting done. It's frustrating.
that I get
Yeah.
frustrated.
Yeah. I get frustrated. I'm like, I've been looping this killer for like half the map and
And I'm
half
like, I'm the
half the
only one
gen.
on a gen right now because we do duos a lot. And I'm like, I'm trying to.
I
And then people
know.
are
It's
like, you
just
did
like,
nothing. I'm like, did nothing.
I'm
My
like, look at
partner
my freaking
ran.
points. Like, I did not. I
Yeah,
love that
ran
argument. And then
for
I'm like, I have the
4
highest
people.
score. I'm like,
I
yeah, I
did
did nothing.
5 gens, unhooked, healed everybody. Everyone else is running around like a chicken with their head cut off. I don't know what you're talking
I
about, but
know. Like during the event, I had one. This was solo. I had a survivor like complain about like, why didn't you do this? I'm like, I did 3 gens. Like, I legit did three
mhm,
gens. Like, I did my part. Like, don't
mhm.
complain about that. I didn't go pick someone up off the ground. Like, what were y'all doing? Like, I popped the last gen and y'all are like, yeah, I was just like, "What are y'all
And, like,
doing?"
no one was in chase. Half the time, they were putting plates on tables and having the
Mhm.
tables go off when no one was injured. I was like, "Oh, that's great. Let's just waste our cooldown." We
I
had a
mean, I
lot of
think
game
it's
thing.
hard
You
I mean,
Yeah.
it's harder in solo queue to always know. I've run Bond, so I kinda know what's going on near me. As a solo queue player, it can be hard to know, like, when to pop the table or even, like and I'll sometimes be on the gen and being like, "Okay, someone's now injured. Should I go take my plate to the table? Should I get off the gen or not? I don't know what my teammates are doing. Are they gonna go set the table?" In solo queue, you just don't always know what the right decision is. Yeah, solo queue is just hard to know always what the right decision is, and you don't know what your teammates are doing. Like maybe they're going to set the table, or maybe they're it's Nia hiding behind a rock waiting for the flashlight save. There's
I'll
lots of
tell you
those
what,
people.
Kate, it's not just doing tables consistently while everyone
Oh,
on your
that
team
Kate,
dies.
that Kate.
Locker Kate.
Gosh, I had a solo match. At least this survivor died. This Chris Redfield. I was hooked. I went to second stage, I do remember this match. I went to second stage, someone else got hooked also, and then someone was, like, downed, and Chris is still on the gen. He finally figured out to come unhook me when I hit second stage. I was like, "Dude," and against well, he ended up dying, like, I did unhook him, he did get hooked. I was really like, "I really don't want to go get you," but I was the only one standing later on in the match, so I was like, "Fine." The icons tell you also what's going on. You don't have to run bond. Like if like two people are hooked and someone's being chased and you're the only healthy survivor, get off the gen.
That's your
Go.
cue.
That's your
Here's your sign. That's
I'm
your
the only
sign.
one able to get the saves now. So I need to get off the gen. So I feel like we just need to have like story time of the match. Fun matches we've had.
Been too
Oh,
much fun, but
I
I'm trying
know.
to figure out if it has to do with the mechanics or just because everyone seemed really disappointed and I felt like everyone just wanted to make it miserable for everybody else. So when the survivors felt like killers were being super oppressive, then they started to run their offer survivor builds. And, Maki and I were like, we're just here to have a good time, guys, and make friends.
I know, and
Wasn't working.
it's so weird in survivor queues because I feel like we either get good survivors or even in solo queue, like, it's either like strong teams or like it's people that are trying to goof off and then like they just die really fast. And then the match goes downhill really fast. And
Yeah,
so,
it just steamrolls.
and then also keep in mind during the event, there's no MMR because I could also tell when I would be
Hmm.
against more inexperienced killers,
Hmm.
players that were not as good with the killers. So there's also that comes into play. And that could also be attributing to the frustration. Because again, as killer, if you're trying a new killer, like, hey, I'm going to try, play Pyramid Head.
Hmm.
And, during this event where they could just all heal, it becomes frustrating. I think they have some work to do before
Hmm.
next year. I still think they'll stick with this theme because I'm sure they're going to want to add more cosmetics with the same theme to them.
Yeah, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
They need to sit back and you got to give killers something to do. You have to give them something equal to what survivors are getting. And please feel free to take some of our ideas in regards to, taking the plates and then getting buffs too. I just make it fun on both sides. Give
Yeah.
everybody something to do.
Trying to think.
But I
Maybe
agree. Let's take away the perks, dude. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like no perks would make this event so much better.
Yeah. And I like the idea of the give and take with the plates. Those are our thoughts. Let us know how you were faring during the event. Do you go with the majority where it was quote unquote survivor sided, or is it just more mechanics? Do you think it had to do with a lot of creators coming out and saying they did not like it? That kind of, started the big fire, so to speak.
Mhm.
Or how would you, what's your ideas and how you would change the event in the future? I think aesthetically it's really cool and concept wise it's really cool. Just the mechanics really need to be fixed.
Yeah, it's like the theme, like the art direction, all that is always, I think, on point.
Really good. Yeah.
And I think they didn't play test this game mode, is what I've heard. So I don't think anyone played it.
Mm,
I don't think the consultants played it. So I think that's the other thing of maybe have some people like external, your consultants try it out first. I feel like some of this could have been avoided
a
if they
lot of
had
it could
it.
have been
But
avoided.
but then like I don't know if they would have had time to change it. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they were just set on this. But as long as they learn and try to improve it next year, I think we'll be okay. Like I don't really expect
Mhm.
them. I mean, I would hope like the first year they start an event, it's like great and there's no issues, but realistically, I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean, with this game, it's never
Yeah.
happened. Like during, it doesn't even have to be event stuff like PTBs. Like people figure out how to, use things the way they're not supposed to be used.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, hopefully in the future, next year, this event will be even better
Mhm.
and more weddings. And
Can we all just
so
be happy and get married to each other?
I know, I saw Leonardo one. I was like, yes, please, Capcom, just let's do that. I guess that's the end of, unless we have any other
Mhm.
thoughts on the anniversary.
Nope.
Um, Feel free to comment about any other content DVD wise you want us to cover because we have the summer events, which is the 3 weeks of game modes coming up, and then eventually we'll get Haunted by Daylight, all the kind of end of year events going on. We've talked about covering the Terrifier lawsuit, but we're still waiting for the rest of that to come out. So if y'all
Mhm.
want us to cover Terrifier and it potentially not coming in November, we don't know yet. So we could try to cover that as well. We're not lawyers, but I watch a lot of law tube, so I feel a little bit prepared. I know a few things now. If there's any
I think
topics y'all
we
want us to
also
cover,
yeah. I think we still have some perk things we wanted to cover and maybe some lore.
build.
So some of that is still in the works. We just had a lot of life
Yes.
stuff going on between the three of us lately and being there to support each other. So that's why there's kind of a dip in content. But hey, sometimes you gotta take a step back and do what's good for mental health and be there for people who are going through hard times. So,
Yep.
but yeah, let us know if there's something you want to cover. We're always happy to talk about things that interest you guys.
Yep. Okay. I guess let's wrap
A
it up.
close.
Go Queen.
All right. And we just want to wish you a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are. And bye.
Bye.